Today I'm going to take you through all of the thresholds that you need to know about as a self-employed person from £1,000 up to £1 million. Hiya folks, welcome back to the Small Business Toolbox. I'm Andy Mack and I've been self-employed like forever. Really quick video today. I'm going to take you through all of the thresholds that you need to know about for the 2020-21 tax year. So first of all, this is for the current tax year that we're in at the moment at the time that I've made this video live. So in other words, a tax year running from the 6th of April 2020 to the 5th of April 2021. So that tax return isn't due until the 31st of January 2022. First threshold you need to know about is £1,000. If your business is making less than £1,000, you don't need to worry about anything. That is your trading allowance threshold, and if you've made less than that, you don't have to submit a tax return. You can submit a tax return, but you don't have to. It basically means that your business is too small for HMRC to care about you. I'm really sorry. The next threshold you need to know about is £6,475. That is your Class 2 National Insurance threshold. At the point that your profits go past that figure, you're going to have to start paying NI, and it works out at about £158.60 a year for Class 2 NI. It's not very much. I would advise paying it just to keep your kind of NI stamp going. We've talked about that on a separate video. The next threshold is £9,500. That is your main Class 4 National Insurance threshold, and at that point you need to be paying Class 4 NI at 9% of your profits. Then the figure we all know and love, our personal allowance, is £12,500 at the moment, and that means that anything below that you don't have to pay any tax on it, but you do still have to pay national insurance, so do bear that in mind. Once your profits are higher than £12,500, you're going to start paying tax at 20%, all the way up to the next threshold, which is £50,000. And £50,000 is your trigger point for when you become a higher rate taxpayer if you're self-employed. From that point onwards, you're going to be paying tax at 40%. On the plus side though, your national insurance drops down from 9% to 2% for profits over the £50,000. The next threshold you need to keep an eye on is £85,000 of turnover. So remember, I was talking about profits before, now we're talking about turnover. I've made videos explaining what both turnover and profit is, links in the description below. Two things happen at £85,000. First of all, you need to register for VAT, it's mandatory. If you're making less than £85,000 turnover, you can voluntarily register for VAT. We'll talk about that in a future video, so don't forget to hit subscribe. But from 85k and above, it's mandatory that you start charging VAT. And it's also the threshold for when you need to start providing a slightly more detailed breakdown of your business expenses. And you'll notice that when you're filling in a tax return, that it says on it that if your turnover is above £85,000, then you need to break down each category of expense, but if your turnover is below 85k, just a single total figure is fine. Then the next threshold you need to know about is £150,000. At £150,000, you need to start thinking about coming off the cash basis. That means you need to switch to accruals-based accounting instead of cash-based accounting. I would strongly recommend getting an accountant involved to help you with that. You should have an accountant involved anyway, but I wouldn't advise doing accruals-based accounts on your own unless you really know what you're doing. There is an additional threshold of £300,000, and that is kind of your absolute limit for when you need to come off cash-based accounting. It's kind of connected with if you hit the £150,000 threshold like mid-tax year. And then finally, the £1 million threshold, and that is only really for this tax year. Whether or not the government keeps it going for subsequent tax years is anyone's guess at the moment. But £1 million is your annual investment allowance limit. To cut a long story short, when you buy an asset or machinery or equipment and stuff like that, you've got the option of either accounting for the full cost of the item straight away or depreciating it over time. Well, the annual investment allowance allows you to account for the full cost of the item in that tax year up to a maximum amount, and that maximum amount at the moment is £1 million. So if you spend like £100,000 on a piece of machinery, you don't have to depreciate that year by year. Instead, you can write off the entire cost of that in a single tax year for tax purposes. Again, as per usual, it's something for your accountant to work out whether or not you should do that. I don't advise any small business owner makes that decision on their own without speaking to an accountant. But the annual investment allowance limit for the 2020 to 21 tax year is £1 million. And beyond that, you should have a finance team looking after your accounts anyway, so I'm not going to go past £1 million. I hope you found that useful. Pop any questions in the comments below. Take care, folks. Good luck on your small business journey, and I shall see you next time. Tatty bye.